Hello, my dear students. Welcome to the first lecture in analog electronics. In this lecture, we are going to review a bipolar junction transistor. From your course on basic electronics in the last semester, you are already familiar with the semiconductor devices, diodes, and transistors. So, we are starting this analog electronics subject reviewing the characteristics of BJTs. So BJT was invented by these three scientists, William Shockley, Dr. John Bardeen, and Dr. Walter H. Brattain in the Bell Laboratories, America. And they shared the Nobel Prize in 1956 for their contribution to semiconductor physics. So let us start with transistor construction. And before we proceed, let me tell you this transistor forms the fundamental component of the integrated circuits, which are the fundamental blocks in modern day computers and electronic gadgets that you use. So billions of transistors are embedded into a single chip, integrated into a single chip. So this transistor invention has revolutionized the electronic industry in the sense that the modern every day by day, you can see an improvement in this integrated circuit technology. And every year by year, you can see the size of these gadgets are getting reduced, or the functions which they can perform is getting more and more advanced. So this IC technology is playing a very important role in that. So this integration process has moved from very large scale integration to ultra large scale integration. That's what I said. Billions of transistors are integrated into a single chip to perform the functions. Okay, so this is the basic block, the transistor. So what you see here is a transistor connection, that is PNP transistor, and many of these kinds, billions of these kinds of are integrated into the chips. Okay, so before I discuss the construction, let me tell you one more thing. If you think about digital electronics and analog electronics separately, you can say that the transistor acts as a switch, or the switching property of a transistor is utilized in digital electronics, and the analog electronics makes use of the amplifying action of the transistor. Okay, so we are going to focus on the amplifying operation of a transistor all throughout this analog electronics course. So you can see a transistor consists of three terminals: the emitter terminal, base terminal, and collector terminal. And these terminals are connected to the emitter. E is connected to the emitter portion of the transistor, B to the base, and C to the collector. So what is this emitter? It is a heavily doped semiconductor portion which is connected to a lightly doped base, and this forms a diode here. Okay, and the collector is moderately doped compared to the emitter, and the collector is connected to the base, which means the base is sandwiched between the emitter and collector. Okay, this is a PNP device. So in PNP, here you can see holes are the majority carriers, and in the base the electrons are the majority carriers, and in the collector again holes are the majority carriers. If you take the NPN, here electrons are the majority carriers, here holes are the majority carriers, and here again electrons are the majority carriers. So the base is very narrow and sandwiched between the emitter and collector. Okay, and this shows the biasing of the emitter base junction and collector base junction. You know that for amplification, you want the emitter base junction to be forward biased and collector base junction to be reverse biased. The main important point you have to keep in mind is that the NPN transistor and PNP transistors are complementary. If holes are the majority carriers here, electrons are the majority carriers here. So the action is complementary. Now this shows one PN junction of a transistor as reverse biased, whereas the other is forward biased. Since the emitter based junction is forward biased, it will behave like a forward biased diode, isn't it? And the collector based junction is reverse biased. So here you can see it is a reverse biased diode. The other, you can see in these two cases only one biasing is given, and the width of the depletion region will be very narrow here, whereas since this junction is reverse biased, this will be very wide. And one more difference you can notice is that here the conduction is due to the majority carrier, since it is a forward bias junction, whereas this is reverse bias junction, so only reverse saturation current is there, and the conduction is because of the minority carriers here. Okay. Now in a PNP transistor, if you give both the biasing together, what happens? So the base current will be drastically reduced here compared to the forward biased condition of the emitter base junction, where there was no reverse bias at the collector base, that the first figure which we discussed. So here you can see the holes are the majority carriers in this P region. This is a PNP transistors, and this is N type region, and this is P type. So the conduction is because of the majority carriers, since this emitter base junction is forward biased. So the width of the depletion region is very less here. It will have to, we have just the knee voltage across the depletion regions. If it is a silicon, it is silicon transistor, it is 0.7 volts. And of these majorities carriers which are emitted from the emitter region to the base, only a very few of them combine with the minority carriers in combined with the base region. Okay, so this base is very lightly doped. Okay, so the base current will be very small, and the rest of them go to the collector region. Okay, and this will flow out as the collector current, but the collector current will have two components: the conduction due to majority carrier which are emitted from the emitter through the base to the collector, and the minority carriers. Okay, the reverse saturation current because of this reverse bias. So keep that in mind, that the collector current has two components. That is what is written here. In transistor, a large number of majority carriers will diffuse across the forward bias PN junction into the N-type material. Since the sandwiched N-type material or base is very thin, it has very low conductivity. Okay, a very small number of these carriers will take this path of high resistance to the base terminal. The conductivity of base is very low. It is very lightly doped. The magnitude of the base current is of the order of microamperes, and for emitter and collector current will be in the range of milliamperes. The large number of these majority carriers will diffuse across the reverse bias junction into the P-type material connected to the collector terminal. Remember, in an NPN transistor, it will be the complementary. In the NPN, the majority carriers will be electrons which diffuse across the P base and then to the collector. So the current relation here in transistor, you are already familiar with all these. IE is IC plus IB. The collector current, however, comprises of two components, the majority and minority carriers, as I discussed just now. So the collector current can be expressed as the current due to majority carrier plus the current due to minority carriers. This current flows when the emitter is open. That O is shown here. Okay. IC current with emitter terminal open. Now the three configurations of the transistors are common base, common emitter and common collector. That is the way you connect a transistor. Before we move into the configurations, first let us see what are transistor characteristics. These are the curves that relate transistor currents and voltages, and these are also known as static characteristic curves. The curves which describe the static operation of a transistor are its input characteristics and output characteristics. As far as the transistor is concerned, the input current and input voltage will be the current and voltage with respect to the input side and the common terminal. Suppose this is an NPN transistor, and this is the emitter, and this is the base, and this is the collector. So the signal input will be given to this forward biased emitter base junction, or the input will be given here, and base is common. This is a common base. We haven't gone into the detail, but still, as you are familiar with, I am just telling. And this is the output. So this will be the output current. Current flowing through the collector will be the output current, and the voltage across the collector to base will be the output voltage. So this characteristics give the relation between input current with input voltage for a given output voltage. This will be maintained constant. Whereas output characteristic relate the output current with output voltage for a given input current. Okay, depending on the configurations, there will be slight variations. So this is a common base configuration. The common base terminology is derived from the fact that the base terminal is common here. You can see the base is connected to ground, and the input common to both input and output sides of the configuration. So this is the symbol denoting a PNP transistor, and this base is common, and this is the symbol for an NPN transistor. You can remember that this is never pointing in NPN, so just pointing out NPN transistor. And this is showing the direction of movement of the majority carriers, or this is the direction of current. Conventionally in electrical and electronics engineering, the direction of current is in the direction of holes, movement of holes. The electron movement will be opposite to this. Electrons will be moving in this direction. So here you see electrons are moving here, and this is again showing the current direction here. Okay, for an NPN transistor. Now this is the circuit arrangement for determining the common base characteristics of an NPN transistor. You can see here there is an input. You want to vary the voltage across the emitter base junction. So for that you have a potentiometer here, and you have another potentiometer here to vary the voltage VCE. Or depending on whether you want to plot the input characteristic or output characteristic, you can keep some parameters constant and then plot the characteristic. So this is the input or driving point characteristic for a common base silicon transistor amplifier. This is again relating the input current. IE is the input current for common base. Input voltage is VBE and this is plotted for different values of output voltage. What is output voltage? The collector to base voltage. One point you can see here is that this cara is representing the forward characteristic of a diode. Why? Because this is the plot for the emitter base junction. We are plotting between the emitter current and the emitter base voltage. So the emitter base junction is forward biased, so the curve is similar to the forward characteristics of a diode. And you can note down one more point here. As the collector base voltage is reduced, this curve is moving to the right. Or alternately, you can say that with the increase in collector to base voltage, you can see the curve is shifting inwards, or the emitter base junction is behaving like a better diode. Why is it so? See, for a transistor, if this is the emitter, this is the base, and this is the collector. So as the collector base reverse bias is increased, the width of this depletion region will increase further, or it will penetrate more into the base. If it is penetrating more into the base, what happens? The base becomes more and more narrow. So the majority carriers which are diffusing from the emitter to the base and moving to the collector will move to the collector without much hindrance from the base. Or you can say the emitter current will increase because it won't have much recombination in the base region, or more majority carriers will be moving from the emitter to the collector. Or you can see that for this curve with VCB equal to 20 volt, you can see the current is increasing at a faster rate with an increase in VBE. Okay, so that is causing the curve to move towards the left, or this will behave like a better diode. The emitter base junction will behave like a better diode when the collector base reverse bias is increased. Now this is the output or collector characteristic for a common base transistor amplifier, and we are interested in the active region of operation since amplification occurs in the active region. When the collector base you want the forward biased emitter based junction and reverse biased collector based junction here for active region, and in the cutoff region both are reverse biased. Both emitter base and collector base junctions are reverse biased, and in saturation region both are forward biased. You can see that here, isn't it? The collector base junction, when it is becoming less than 0, this is the plot for this is going to be less than 0. So for a PNP transistor, if this VCB becomes negative, what happens? It will become forward biased. You can verify that here. See, this VCB was positive here. So if here you can see this VCB, when its polarity is reversed, you can see that it is going to forward bias, the collector base junction. And when both are forward bias, you can see the change in collector current, it is decreasing. Okay, but in the active region where we want to focus, you can note down that it is going parallel. These curves are going parallel, and the value of IC is approximately equal to IE. This is the value of IE. You are plotting this curve for different values of IE. The first curve is plotted for IE equal to 1 milliampere, and this curve, this is the first curve, it is plotted for IE equal to 0 milliampere. And for 2 milliampere, 3 milliampere, what is happening? This IC is going on increasing, which means excuse me, which means IC is approximately equal to IE in active region of operation. And here you see when IE equal to 0, this IC is approximately equal to 0, but it takes the value of the reverse saturation current. This is the condition when emitter is open, which we have already discussed. Okay. Now this curve, if you are wondering why this is going like this is beyond the breakover voltage. That is beyond a particular reverse bias voltage, the collector base junction will break down. So the transistor operation has to be limited between this region, and all these data will be provided in the data sheet of a transistor. If you choose a transistor to form a particular circuit, you have to go through that before using a transistor for a particular application. Now this is the discussion on the different regions of operation. In the active region, at the lower end of the active region, the emitter current is 0 and the collector current is simply that due to reverse saturation current. This figure is showing that only when IE equal to 0, the collector current is because of the reverse saturation current, and we are calling this current as ICBO in common base configuration because this is the current that is flowing from collector to base with emitter open. This is for common base. You call this ICO as ICBO. And this will be affected by the higher temperatures, because this reverse saturation current is dependent upon the temperature of operation of the transistor. So at higher temperature, it may increase and it may become significant. Now, as the emitter current increases above 0, the collector current increases to a magnitude essentially equal to that of emitter current, and this is approximately equal to IE. It won't be equal to IE because there is a factor coming there, we'll see. And cutoff region is a region where both the junctions are reverse biased or the transistor is said to be in the off state in this condition. And the saturation region is when the cara to the left of VCB equal to 0 volt. As we saw, it is the forward bias condition of the collector base junction, and both are forward biased. Okay. Now in the saturation region, the base emitter and base collector junctions are both forward biased. Now here comes the factor alpha. What is alpha? Alpha is known as current gain in the common base configuration, or it is the current gain of the transistor in common base configuration. And it is a ratio of IC by IE. What is IC? IC is the output current, IE is the input current. So if we apply a signal at the input, what is the gain in the current? That factor is given by alpha DC. This is for a DC signal. And this quantity will be less than 1. Why? Because IE is greater than IC and IE is approximately equal to IC. So it is a large value. Both IC and IE are approximately equal and IE is greater. So it will be less than 1, and this alpha is defined for majority carriers only. So what is the component of IE that is flowing as IC? So as we saw, some recombination is occurring in the base. So some current is flowing. If IE is the current from the emitter, then some current is flowing through the base. The base current is flowing and the rest is going to IC. But this IC total has two components due to majority carriers and that due to minority carriers. So that is what is shown here. This is the component of IC due to majority carrier, alpha IE. So alpha is defined for majority carriers and ICBO is the component due to minority carriers. So you can just keep in mind that the expression for IC comprises of alpha, which is the current gain, and the quantity of the portion of IE which forms the collector current is alpha IE, and that is due to majority carriers, and plus ICBO, which is due to minority carriers. Now this is the alpha in AC mode. For AC situations where the point of operation moves on the characteristic curve and AC alpha is defined. That is the operation of the amplifier as it moves on the characteristic curves. It is not DC. You have an IC alpha. So this is for delta IC by delta IE. Or this above equation specifies that a relatively small change in the collector current is divided by the corresponding change in IE with the collector to base voltage held constant. So this is found out for a constant VCB value on the output characteristic curve. You can see the output characteristic curve once again. So this is defined on this output for a particular VCB. You find out what is the change in IC for a ratio of delta IC to delta IE. Okay. Now for most of the situations, the magnitudes of alpha AC and alpha DC are quite close, permitting the use of same magnitude for the for both AC and DC modes. Next comes the common emitter configuration. Here you can see the emitter terminal is common here, and input is given to the this base current is the input current and the collector current is the output current. So obviously you will have to find relation between IB and IC here, input current and output current here. So as you are all familiar with, these are the notation and symbols with the common emitter configuration for NPN transistor and PNP transistor. Now this is the circuit arrangement for determining common emitter characteristic, very much similar to the common base, but please note that this is microampere ammeter, which range should be low. This since you are measuring the base current here, and here you are measuring the collector current, and voltmeters are connected, and through the potentiometer you are giving the supply DC signal to here. That is, you can vary the DC by varying the potentiometer. VBE can be varied. Now this is the plot for VBE versus IB. IB is in microampere here. Okay, please note this is also the base emitter junction is forward biased in this condition also. So the curve is similar to the forward characteristics of a diode. But note one thing, with increase in VCE or the output voltage, what is happening here? The curve is shifting outward, different from the previous discussion of the common base configuration. In common base, we were plotting IE on the y-axis, whereas in common emitter configuration, we are plotting IB here on the y-axis. Please note that. So here also what happens for the emitter, base and collector you have here. This is the emitter and this is the base and this is the collector. As VBE, as VCE is increased. What is VCE from this figure? Sorry. What is VCE? VCE is equal to VCB plus VBE. Okay, VCB plus VBE. So what is happening here? This VCE, if you increase, VCE is equal to VCB plus VBE. For a particular value of VBE, if VCE is increased, this VCB will increase. Or the collector to base reverse bias will increase here. Again, this depletion region will penetrate more into the base region, isn't it? So the base current will further decrease and emitter current will increase. We are plotting the base current here. So there will be a curve which is moving towards right for common base configuration as VCE or output voltage is increased. Now the output cara of a common emitter silicon transistor amplifier is shown here. You can see that here IC is following IB in the sense that the IC curves are remaining constant, but it is varying slightly with respect to VCE. So VCE is affecting the collector current or the output current here. So these are plotted for different values of IB. Please note these are the different IB values in microamperes. Okay, and the curve is depending upon VCE also. Depending on VCE, it will increase. And similar to the common base configuration, you can find out the saturation region here towards the left of VCE sat. This value of VCE is known as VCE sat and cutoff region below IB equal to 0 ampere. So when IB equal to 0 ampere, below that still there is an appreciable amount of current that is flowing there through the collector. So this ICEO is defined by this relation. You will see beta in detail later on, and this ICEO will be beta times ICBO, where beta is the current gain in common emitter configuration. So here again the transistor current relation holds on, that is IE is equal to IC plus IB and IC is equal to alpha IE. Okay, this relation is there. Along with that, we have plotted the input cara and the output cara. Input cara is a plot between IB and VBE for constant output voltage VCE, and for common emitter configuration, again output cara is the plot of output current versus output voltage for different values of input current IB. We have seen that. Now one point you have to note here is that the collector to emitter voltage will influence the magnitude of collector here current here in common emitter configuration. This one also we discussed. The active region of the common emitter configuration can be employed for voltage, current or power amplification. That is when the emitter based junction is forward biased and the collector based junction is reverse biased. Now in the cutoff region, we will see that IC EO relation here. The cutoff region, it is not as well defined as for common base configuration. Here the collector characteristic IC is not equal to 0 when IB is 0. We saw that. The reverse saturation current is appreciable here. For the common base configuration, when the input current IE was equal to 0, the collector current was equal only to the reverse saturation current ICO. Now the difference is explained below. This IC is alpha IE plus ICBO. If you replace this IE with IB plus IC, you get a relation like this. IC will be equal to alpha IB by 1 minus alpha. Why we need to go for IB? Because in this common emitter configuration, IC is the output current and IB is the input current. So we need a relation between these two. Okay, and this plus ICBO by 1 minus alpha. Okay, now when IB equal to 0, what happens? You substitute for IB as 0 ampere. This IC will be equal to ICBO by 1 minus alpha. If the alpha value is in the range of 0.996 or 0.98, it is close to 1 but less than 1. And this will be ICBO by 0.004 or 250 times ICBO. In common emitter configuration, it was just the reverse saturation current and we wrote it as ICBO when IB equal to 0, isn't it? But in this case, not IB, when IE, the input IE was equal to 0, we had the collector current is equal to ICBO. But here the input is IB, and when IB is 0, the collector current is some factor times that factor we will call later on as beta, and that is equal to ICB beta times ICBO, and this is ICEO now. IC current is ICEO, that is the current flowing from collector to emitter with base open. Here input is base. Now if ICBO were 1 microampere, the resulting collector current will be with IB equal to 0 would have been 0.25 milliampere, which is not in the microampere range but in the milliampere range. That is why we saw IC is not equal to 0. It is having an appreciable value in common emitter configuration when the input current is 0. Now we have, as this is what is done here, the collector current when IB equal to 0, we call it as ICEO, and that is equal to ICBO by 1 minus alpha when IB equal to 0 microampere. Now this is the circuit condition. When base is open or base current is 0, the ICEO is the collector current that is flowing from collector to emitter. Now, as you all know, saturation region is the region where the switch is in the on condition, and cutoff region we have discussed. Then beta. Here we have the current gain beta in common emitter configuration. So what is this current gain beta? It is a ratio of collector current to base current. Collector current is the output current and this is the input current. So what is the current gain? That is beta. And this IC and IB are determined at a particular operating point on the characteristic. For practical values, the level of beta typically ranges from 50 to over 400. We have seen beta will have very large value. And for alpha, beta reveals the relative magnitude of one current with respect to the other. So this common emitter configuration, important point you have to note here is it has high current gain. The output to input current ratio is higher than common base configuration. Now in AC mode, you can see beta AC is given by delta IC by delta IB, keeping VCE equal to constant. So at a constant VCE, you note the change in delta collector current to change in base current, and you will get the beta AC value. In this case also we can, these AC and DC values will be almost same. So we are if a value of beta is specified for a particular transistor configuration, it will normally be used for both DC and AC calculations. Now what is the relation between alpha and beta?